What is up, YouTube?
Hi.
Giving honor to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first and foremost.
Always.
My name is
I'm
Marcus,
Christian.
and this is Marriage for Dummies
Reacts.
Reacting. Today, we doing a video. This one is going to be Charlie Kirk is a racist bigot. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and we love you. Let's
We do.
check it out.
Was there ever a point in history where white privilege did exist?
No.
Yeah, I suppose when we lived in a country where if you were black, you were not allowed to go into certain places, right? I suppose you could say again, and I guess that wouldn't be white privilege. You would call that Nordic privilege in the progressive era when there were signs that said Irish need not apply. So that is white on white, a lack of a privilege. Of course, there's examples in the history of the world where you would have been privileged if your skin was white, especially in this country and in other countries as well. But today, no, white privilege does not exist.
When did it end?
Over time, beginning with the civil rights era, it's not a particular incident or moment, but multi-generations, the country became significantly less racist. I would say after Reconstruction, after the Civil War, after, when we had desegregation, fought the Democrat institutional racism. We fought back against the KKK when the Civil Rights Act was signed, when blacks were allowed to participate in Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the National Basketball Association, serve an elected office. All those things, contributed to the end of what used to be privilege in society, white privilege.
You said less racist. Is it still somewhat racist?
No, do you just have questions? I think.
No, you said you wanted a dialogue. We're having a
Oh,
conversation.
okay. No.
It's the least racist country in the world.
No, America is not a racist country today.
Is it still racist? So
No,
when did it end?
no.
There's certain.
You can't answer the question.
It ended when it ended.
I just did.
Okay,
No, you didn't. You said
I
less
will
racist.
answer.
I'm
I'll
asking
answer.
when
I'm
did it
answering you.
end? Thank you.
When it stopped being systemic, when there stopped being laws in place that stopped
Yes.
me as
Great
a
answer.
black person doing what you're able to do as a
Yes.
white man.
No, I'm not asking that. Systemic racism is not simply that issue.
Yes, you
this
just
is-
asked
What
me
about
to
the
define when it stopped being, when this
What about
country
what?
stopped being racist. That's the answer.
When?
That I can't give you the exact date and time and hour. I'm telling you
Give
when.
me the decade.
What do you mean?
Mid-1970s.
Yeah, right.
Mid-1970s. So mass incarceration affecting black and brown communities
Because
disproportionately
they
to their
committed.
population.
Because they committed more crimes.
They
Yeah,
committed
well,
more,
yeah.
As to why? Why did they commit more crimes?
Because
they
we
were
ripped
black
apart
or-
the.
You hear that? Why? No, they commit more crimes. Why did they commit more crimes? What made them do something evil? Somebody, somewhere, somebody made them go against God's commandments and made them do something evil.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And yes, racism has the moment that it stopped being in the system of racism and they made it for all people. When it became for all people, that's when racism stopped. Now, individual racism, as you're never going to stop every single soul from being racist. That's never going to happen. There's always going to be somebody somewhere that's going to be racist, undercover that no one knows. But there's also always going to be somebody that's black and racist that's undercover and no one knows. And there's always going to be somebody that's Asian and racist. That it's always racism is sin, and it will never stop.
Yeah.
It will never stop. So they're arguing a mute point. Like it doesn't make any sense.
At some point, you have to acknowledge that you can't read people's minds. You can't know.
Yeah.
You can never know if it is actually forever gone, always, never again.
Yeah.
Like that's just not true. Like there's no possibility.
When have progressive not? How come progressive never express progress? Whenever progress has happened, they don't say that is been progress.
Good point. That did occur.
Yeah.
Or like they're making a bunch of points where it has gotten better, but you can't acknowledge it. Because
crazy.
you have to acknowledge that there's always going to be racism. Okay. There will always be racism, but does that mean that it's everywhere all the time? No.
It's crazy.
And that it's majority? No.
You're fighting a battle that you'll never win because that means you're trying to eradicate sin, and that will never happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Until Jesus comes back.
You know what I'm saying?
Family.
Because of
It's
their
not-
economic situation.
It's
I'm
absolute-
not fucking talking to you, dude.
Why are liberals so angry? I can't figure out why
I'm
you're
not a
angry. Why are
liberal.
you angry
I'm not a liberal,
right
so
now?
stop assuming my political
Okay, but
affiliation.
you just came out of
conservative.
nowhere and just start cursing.
No, you invited me up here, raised my hand,
I know,
and
but
you
I'm
said,
saying
"Please
you
come
just
up
turned
here."
around and
No,
you're
stop
cursing
trying
at
to change
someone.
the-
Why don't you calm down? It's just a conversation.
I'm perfectly calm. I can curse
You don't
while
have to
being
turn
calm.
around and curse anyone behind you.
I can.
You're
It's a
okay?
free country, right?
Okay. No, but I'm saying that it's not necessary to have this dialogue for you to turn around and be angry. I do always remark, and I am going to suspect that you are liberal because right now you're trying to sell me my own.
I'm not liberal.
You're selling me my own oppression, so that's a very liberal stance.
I'm not liberal.
Usually when a white man stands up and tells me that, yes, this is a racist country and is oppressed, they do tend to be liberal. Only liberals try to sell me my oppression.
But I'm not.
But, okay, I'm not going to assume your political ideology. So here's
I do.
I mean,
Stop. Just
to answer your question for me, when the system stops being racist and there's nothing stopping us, and you brought up the prison rates, and you said something that was actually really important. You said it's because their communities have been economically depressed. So that would not be because of the color of your skin. That's economic privilege. If you ask me whether or not I believe in economic privilege, I would tell you yes. If you ask me whether or not I think that somebody born into a family of billionaires will be afforded more privileges in life than somebody that is born in the projects of Chicago, I would say yes, because economic privilege in this country does exist. But there is no law in place that is stopping a person because of the color of their skin from gaining that economic privilege, which is why I do not believe that white privilege, which is based upon the color of your skin, exists.
yeah.
Is black poverty and white poverty different? Do they face different?
No, poor is poor.
That's a lie. White people are more likely to be in rural poverty, which is different than urban poverty.
That's because black people don't live in rural parts of America.
What?
That's because black people don't live in rural parts of America.
Why? Historically, why? Why did black people flock?
Because of Lyndon
to
Baines Johnson, urban planning, central planning, great society, where he said, we are going to verticalize the black community, destroy the black father, introduce drugs in the late 1960s, subsidize single motherhood, which used to be 22% in the 1960s, which is now 73%. Only a government program could make something like that happen.
Did it have anything to do with the lynchings in the South and the hostility towards black people in the South?
Well, first off, you say...
Is there any reason why they left the South for that reason?
Just so everybody knows, literally not half people, 1/3 of the people that were lynched in the South were white Republicans. So Republicans were being lynched in the South as well. So let's not pretend that if your argument, if you're asking me, it seems like you're no, I just responded.
Does it
said
have
it was a
anything
dialogue.
to do black people leaving the South and going to inner cities and other...
He just answered that question for you.
No, I said, does it have anything to do with the KKK,
Very little to
lynchings,
Yes.
and violence in the South that black people face?
I have to read
So
up on
what
that
it
more.
has to do with is the fact that black people continue...
Answer my question.
Very little to
Does
nothing.
it? Yes or no?
Very
You're
little.
not allowing
Answer.
me to... Okay, listen, you're not going to be like... You're not my boss.
You
So
guys
don't
do the
tell me
same shit.
Don't
You
tell me
guys
how
talk
I
over
have to
people all the
answer
time.
your
I was just
question,
over there
okay?
with you shutting people down.
Nobody's intimidated from you telling me how I'm going to answer your
I'm not
question.
trying to intimidate you. I'm
You're not
trying to
going to
have an
cut me
honest
off,
conversation.
okay?
No, I'm trying to have an honest conversation, which you
Why don't you
guys do not
stop
want to.
exercising your invisible white privilege and let the black girl talk for a second, okay?
That's nice. No, this has nothing to do with
Okay, so to answer your question,
So white privilege
everything
exists.
that you're
Wait,
talking
wait,
about-
wait,
no,
wait.
I said invisible white privilege.
Does it exist
I
then?
said invisible white privilege. If you listen,
Of course it's
okay?
invisible.
So
White
first
privilege is
things
not a
first,
tangible
white
thing.
privilege does not exist. Economic privilege does exist. Okay? If you're asking me, do I think the black community has been crippled economically? The answer would be yes. It has been crippled economically by Democrat policies. You just heard
Who
me
cares
say that
who
in
does
there.
it?
I
Democrats
care.
are
So that
Americans.
tells you-
Democrats are in America,
because
so
that
therefore
tells
you
you-
just
that
admitted
tells you-
that there has been disadvantage
It
by
is not
two
race.
black
It
people
is not-
by Democrats
it
who
is
are
not
American.
based
You
off
just
of
admitted
the.
it.
It is not based off. You
it's
asked
not
me if
privilege,
white
yeah.
privilege exists. The answer is white privilege. Because you're born white, that means you're going to not
You
have
just-
this or that. It does not exist. No, it does not
You just
exist.
admitted that the Democrats, the boogeyman Democrats,
They're not boogeymen. They
disadvantaged
exist.
the black
Boogeyman
people.
doesn't exist.
No,
60 years
Democrats
ago.
do exist.
they did it.
So
60
boogeyman means doesn't
They did
exist.
it.
Just so you know, there
We're
are
talking about
Democrats.
So
today.
you admit that it exists.
60.
I don't think you're comprehending. You're not.
So,
You're not
let-
I'm
comprehending.
not sure that you are. You said
60 years ago, white people had it better than black people. Over time, there's no more systemic laws that are in place. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What can a white person
Do
do
we
that a black person
disproportionately-
cannot do today in today's America? Name one thing.
well, black people
Answer the question. Isn't that how this works?
Fucking question. Black people who smoke marijuana, black and white people smoke marijuana at the same rates. Yet a black person is 3 to 4 times more likely
I can
to be
answer
put
that.
in jail for that.
Okay,
And I know the reason why,
Stop
because you have the
smoking
police
pot.
in the urban communities. It's easier to police those communities. Sure.
Because
But that-
actually, I had a girlfriend. I had a family member who got a DUI, and I had a girlfriend who got a DUI.
Just to let you know, by just saying what you're saying and standing up here and knowing what's going on through the
police brutality, to injustice.
I
all
love
this stuff.
This is so.
You're
I
a
guys,
joke.
I
You're
love
a
that
joke.
behind me. There's like black people rolling their eyes, but the two white guys are yelling at me, telling me that I don't agree with them.
That's
It's
so
this is
wild.
what I love about white liberals, right? Like they know
I'm not a
it's so
liberal.
important
You're a
for
Marxist.
them to sell us
No,
our
I'm not.
oppression that they'll come up and tell us we're under grace. Just
Do
say
you speak
just
for all
say
black
it. Just
people?
say it. Just say
Can
it.
you speak for
well,
all
why
black
don't you
people?
stop speaking for black people? That would be
not?
great. Okay.
I love that guy behind her too.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, exactly.
100%.
Wow.
Hey, look. 100%.
Look,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually really enjoyed that back and forth because
Yeah.
it was so crazy. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that it is just such a huge Charlie word fallacy that where it is still systemic. Like,
Yeah, that's
he
crazy.
made that point so many times, but the other side just will not take that in at all. Like, just will not accept that as an answer. Is that over time, it's gotten better.
Bro, even the most racist person, you know what I'm saying? Even the most racist person cannot avoid if a person has put their everything into something. Like, I know that there are like really racist people that love Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing stopping you. Their individual racism, they can't even show. Like, they can't even show it out in public because they get canceled. You can't, you know what I'm saying? We live in a world where it's frowned upon, and everybody, the scariest word to be called is a racist.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Even if somebody is trying to undercover, it is very, dude, someone would call them out on it quickly. You can easily call somebody racist and make everybody disassociate themselves from them. So,
Ruin
how
careers.
much more
Yeah.
do you need in this society to prove to you that racism systemically does not exist?
Yeah.
Like I'm
It's
saying,
wild.
it like like I told you, bro. The devil, you can tell it's the devil's side because it wants everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't like. Nothing is enough.
Yeah.
It's never enough, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, hey, white liberals, y'all ain't helping.
Yeah.
You're not helping us. Like, you're not helping us. I used to be a liberal too, and
So
and
wild.
you're not helping us. Y'all were the ones that I got the most angry with, that y'all know and y'all feel. Like, y'all feel that y'all tired of black folks mess, bro. Like, y'all know y'all feel that on the low. Like, y'all feel it, but yet you're fighting it. Like, you said something for black people maybe in a setting that they didn't want you to talk in. Hey, shut up. You don't know our experience, so let us talk, okay? And it's like, dude, like, I'm. So you know how it is. Like, you know that, like, you know what I'm saying? You know how it is, and you know that we need to clean up our act and our culture. And you fighting and trying to get the world to change to fit our downfalls and our neglectfulness. You got the whole world trying to change for that, rather than trying to get us to change our attitude and change, you know what I'm saying, our culture. It's backwards.
It's wild.
But yeah.
It's rough.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of targeting on these, like, the white liberals. Like,
to address your previous assertion that race means nothing, critical race theory is not being taught in schools. It is a academic theory that's pretty much delegated only to higher academia. They're not teaching it in schools. Your explanation of it was an oversimplification. You address the real history behind it, unlike most people. And why, if race means nothing, does it affect our history? Say 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Why is there such evil history with something that supposedly means nothing?
Okay, so first of all, you're wrong. It is being taught in elementary schools. So I'll give you an example. Not only is it being taught, it's being enforced. So in Denver, there is a playground where they say white families not allowed. Would you support that?
That seems like a ridiculous edge case.
So I'll give you another example. Actually, in the National Education Association's training manual, which is the largest teacher union in the country, they had a seminar on how to teach critical race theory to kids. That sounds like it's in our schools, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What that is it's literally
I got a
just
story.
common sense. It's saying that this is real history. This is what has happened in the past.
Right. So
And
we're
that matters.
okay. Got it. So, for example, would you say that black-only dormitories is wrong?
It certainly creates a sense of community. I don't see any problem with that. We have sororities. We have male-only dorms.
Right. So racial differences are irrelevant and immaterial. Chromosomal differences actually do matter.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Are there differences between races?
No, not biologically.
Then why would we have different dormitories for races?
Culture.
Segregation is what you're arguing for, my friend.
No, sir.
How is it not segregation to have blacks in their own dorm?
You seem so sweet, man.
You've just pigeonholed me, essentially. You've essentially just you've distracted from my original argument.
No. You did that to yourself. Let's reemphasize. So Ibram X. Kendi argues, who is one of the leading thinkers of critical theory, race theory, discrimination today to atone for discrimination of yesterday. We have black-only graduation ceremonies at Columbia University, black-only dormitories across the country, for example, at Western Washington University. Can you join me today in saying black-only dormitories are evil, wrong, and it's segregation?
You still haven't answered my question about why does this history simultaneously mean nothing?
Well, I'm happy to answer that, but the fact you're dodging segregation in America, why is that?
I'm arguing against segregation.
So you're against black-only dormitories?
Yes.
Well, you said it was a force of community, and then for your not for critical race theory.
That's an option. We have choice.
Oh, so you could choose to segregate.
Yeah.
That's a pigeonhole.
What do you think of white-only dormitories?
Oh my goodness. No, it's just the truth.
Would you support white-only dormitories?
Everybody has a choice.
So I think white-only and black-only anything is evil and wrong. That's why I hate critical theory and critical race theory, because when it's put in practice, you start to discriminate people based on race.
Yeah.
So we're now south of the Mason-Dixon line in North Carolina. We did a lot of work to get rid of segregation in this country. Why are you trying to bring it back?
What work?
The Civil Rights Act of 1964.
In this state?
Yeah, actually in this state. Are there black-only bathrooms out there I'm unaware of, or white-only bathrooms?
Nah.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of work was done in this state.
You just being...
Got him.
You just being snotty whenever you...
Fuck you, your face is small.
Well, thanks for being here. They always go to insults when they lose the argument. God bless you, my friend.
It's so wild.
Yeah, you see that?
That is so... It's sick.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me sad, bro, because, look... Even our son, before we homeschooled him, he was taught these things.
Yeah.
Like, and that's with an interracial mom and dad.
Yeah.
Like, what? It's so wild. And he was just going off of what he was taught.
Yeah.
And like, that's why it is so important. Homeschool your kids, bro. Like, Charlie was not playing about that. Like, because even with interracial parents, you can still look, even just, and that's racist too, but you can think they're tricking the kids into being racist. Yeah. It's crazy. They're tricking the kids into being racist.
But the saddest part of it is that they believe that they're doing otherwise.
Yes, they're thinking that's why it makes me so upset.
Like
seeing that.
They say, listen,
that young man has a heart where he truly cares. Yeah, but he doesn't understand of how. Well, really, that's not helping. That's making it worse.
They just gotta learn that
the devil's tricky.
They gotta learn that. This is where we mess up. Where they messed up at is that there's no Christ. There's no Christ there, and the reason why it's important to have Christ there is because there's no self-reflection. So that means you can get up there on a mic, and the person that you're talking to is your enemy. You're not really trying to have a real dialogue or trying to make sense of what they're saying. So you're missing everything, and you're trying to be mad. You're mad at that person, that human. You won't agree for nothing. That's why he ended the conversation after he made it. He's like, "No, I'm just here to fuss with you. I'm not really here to come to common ground."
No intention to actually maybe learn something. Like you don't actually want to be your mind changed. You don't want a possibility of, hey, if he makes a point and this and that, I would understand and be willing to change my mind about that. But no, you go into it with an emotion. Yeah. And because you think you're doing the right thing, and there you go. That's two really bad things together. Put them together, and it's war. Yeah. You're gonna see that person as an enemy. You're gonna not listen to what they have to say. If they prove you wrong, you won't go home and take that. You know, you won't listen to it.
Well, but
they're seeds. That's why.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that would probably have me scratching my head if you actually listen to them is somebody saying, "Okay, never mind, and God bless you,
right? And
you have a nice day."
Wow.
After having a discussion, after you said something like that to them.
Yeah, I've never once seen someone up there be like, Wow. You know what? That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and just consider
Wait, hold
this.
on. There is.
There is?
There is. Oh, the one that it was because we didn't play. I didn't play that one.
Oh, let's look at that one.
But
I want to see that.
I got you.
All right, let's get back into it. Hello.
Hi, y'all. So before I ask my question, I want to clarify a point that y'all mentioned earlier. You said you don't believe in white privilege, correct?
Yeah, it's a myth. It doesn't exist.
Okay. So according to the Bureau of Prison Statistics from last month, 38.3% of our current inmate population is black. But according to the 2020 census data, only 12.2% of our national population is black. So if you don't believe in white privilege, how do you explain this disparity?
So why are they in jail?
It has been this way for years, since the 90s.
No,
since
why do people go to jail?
Why are black people in jail at higher rates than white people?
That's the question, right? Maybe because they
Yes.
commit more crimes than white people.
But that's not true.
It actually is.
They do. So every independent analysis shows that blacks have committed a disproportionate amount of crime. No one wants to say it out loud, but it's true. In fact, in New York, 52% of murders are committed by blacks, 40+% of arson, 60+% of drug deals. And so the question you should really be asking is what drives them to commit crimes? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
The real question is, and maybe I can ask you, what percentage of blacks are raised with two parents in the home?
So actually, according to the Uniform Crime Report for 2019, black or African American individuals committed only about 1 million crimes, while white people committed about 4 million crimes.
That's proportion.
Yeah, how about the proportion?
There's a lot more white people than black people in the United States.
It's a 60% white country and a 14% black country. So you just proved my point.
Dang.
You literally, so basically that's a disproportionate amount of crime.
Yeah.
Dang.
It is.
But listen, I want to say, look, you are coming up here and you're asking a question, and that's not easy to do, first and foremost, no matter what. And I really appreciate your question in front of all these people. It's hard. So thank you for asking your question. But let me point out what you just did, and you didn't know that you did it. You switched from proportion to raw numbers.
That's right.
And you did that to make a point that you thought you were making, but you weren't. But look, your issue was that Black Americans only make up 13% of the population, and yet they make up, I think you said, like 38% of the prison population. And then you switched to raw numbers because, so Black people only make up 13% of the population, but they commit 40% of all homicides and 60% of all violent crime. Unfortunately, I don't think that's anything inherent in Black Americans. That's not what I'm saying. That's just the fact. And what Charlie is saying is, look, we've got to look at why that is. So you're claiming that that disparity is inherent proof of discrimination. So would you also say the fact that there are fewer Asians in jail means that than white people, that there is discrimination against white people? No? Disparity isn't proof of discrimination is what I'm trying to say.
So let me just throw, and Allie's exactly right. What percentage of blacks grow up with two parents in the home?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, less than 20%. That's why there's so many blacks committing crimes and they're in jail. It's that simple. The death of the black family is why blacks are in jail higher than their population percentage. It's that simple.
May I see your criminology degree? Do you have one?
I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
We've gotta, are you a biologist, Ketanji Brown Jackson?
Let me ask you a question.
Jeez Louise.
So do I need a criminology degree to be able to understand that 75% of blacks don't grow up with two parents?
To be well versed in it, I believe so.
Do you have one?
And there you go.
I don't, but I'm studying it.
Okay,
right
but
now.
you
Oh, she studied it.
But you did the same thing. You looked at a statistic, and he did the same thing. You
Look,
don't have a criminology
Have you
degree,
even taken
neither
a
does
criminology
he.
course? Have y'all
Hold on
taken
a second. You're doing an argument from authority, okay?
It's a fallacy.
So the laws of physics don't change whether or not you're a physicist, okay? The law of thermodynamics doesn't change whether or not you take a course on it. Answer the question. Why do blacks have a broken family versus a nuclear family, and does that translate to higher rates of crime? Do you admit that?
Why is it that blacks don't have parents, though? Why?
Good question. We subsidize single motherhood in this country through the federal government of the United States.
I love
Great
that.
question.
Yeah. That is
Now
a good
we're
question.
getting somewhere.
Yeah. That is a good question.
Back in the
It is.
1960s, we put forward a program where black women married the government and broke up with the men they were with.
Woo.
welfare
Kevin
state Lyndon
Samuels
Baines
said it
Johnson,
too.
and that has contributed to blacks committing more crimes.
I believe institutionalized racism is your answer, but I don't believe I'm getting anywhere
but
with y'all.
But no, just let me point something out. Did you know that it's not white Americans that have the lowest incarceration rate or the lowest rates of crime or the highest graduation rates or the highest median income? It's not white Americans. It's Asian Americans. They have the highest median income. They have the highest graduation rates.
Woo!
They have the most degrees. They have the lowest incarceration rates.
Woo!
And guess what? They also have the lowest single parenthood rates. Okay?
Woo!
So that is true across the board. It's
Go
not just black
Asians.
Americans.
Man.
And unless you're willing to say that the reason why
awesome.
Asian Americans make more than white Americans, or the reason why Asian Americans go to jail less than white Americans is because there is systemic institutional racism against white people in this country, then your argument against black people doesn't really work.
That
That's
is
a great
argument.
That
Like,
really
I got
is.
a black friend right up here. He's great.
Really good job.
He's great. So let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. What can I do that he can't do?
What do you mean?
If institutional racism was real, what can I do that he can't do?
Well, you're less likely to get arrested.
I'm sorry. No, if we both commit a crime, he's going to get arrested and I'm not?
He could.
Wait, so we just went through this. Blacks commit a disproportionate amount of crime in this country because of broken families. So give me one law on the books. You said it's institutional. Give me a law anywhere that discriminates against blacks. Give me one law anywhere in America.
Do you see how she didn't know? She heard this new. This is brand new information to her. She didn't go and prove it wrong. She's just like, I don't like that argument. So
Can't even consider it.
Yeah, I'm not going to consider it.
Won't even take a second.
How do you know?
You know what?
Did nothing.
I don't. And why can't we just say I don't know?
Yeah.
We are horrible about that.
Yeah.
And I used to be really bad about that.
Yeah.
Just saying, you know what? I actually don't know about that. So let me just
She didn't
not say anything.
Like possibly you could be correct. I need to do some research on it and then I'll be back. She just said,
not true.
I hear you. I hear what you said and I raise you a nothing. Like, like, come on, bro.
It's wild.
You want current or past?
How about right now?
Well, the fact that crack cocaine is criminalized more than regular cocaine.
No. If I deal crack cocaine, I'm getting arrested regardless of skin color. Give me a law.
White cocaine, you're
give me a law anywhere that allows white people to commit crimes and get away with it, and blacks can't. Does that law exist?
Not anymore. But
because there's no institutional racism in America.
There we go.
The idea of institutional racism is laws on the books.
Just because it's not down on paper doesn't mean it's not real.
Okay, give us an example. Not just a disparity. Not just a disparity.
God isn't. You don't see God.
He's on paper. Read the Bible.
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, no, that's what it is.
I'm getting nowhere with y'all, and y'all are not answering my question, so I'm going to end this Q&A right here. Thank you.
I always say that.
Okay.
We actually did answer her questions, but I do appreciate, even though she's got an attitude, I do appreciate her courage. I do. That is difficult. That's difficult to come up here and ask a question, but you can also do it respectfully.
But what bothered me about her, I'm glad she was there. She wasn't being honest. At least be honest, okay? And be willing to be corrected. Well, that was a fun fireworks show to end our time together, right?
Be willing to be corrected.
Yeah, that's the whole.
But that's another part of having Christ.
Yeah.
That's exactly what a relationship with God is being able to be corrected constantly, because you are never going to be perfect. Yeah. And that's why he sent Christ. You know what I'm saying? But we don't understand that until we know who Christ is and what he did for us, you know? It's wild, but this was a great one, babe. Good job, for real. God bless you guys. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.